morning. Today, we're back with another news bulletin. I am Srishti Garg with Satyavani of 10th May. Let's go to Avni for some COVID updates.
Good morning. India records 4,03,738 new cases and 4,092 deaths, summing to 2,42,362 deaths as updated on 8 a.m. today. On Friday, India reported highest number of fatalities of 4,187. States like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Punjab, West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, and Assam are under partial lockdown, following measures like night curfew to control the spread. And states like Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan, Goa, Kerala, Bihar, Delhi, Karnataka are under full lockdown following strict measures to curb the spread of virus. Now let's move to Bobby for national updates.
Thank you, Avni. Now for the national updates. Central Vista project in full swing near India Gate amid pandemic. The redevelopment project of the Central Vista, the power corridor of the country, envisages a new triangular parliament building, a common central secretariat, and the revamping of the 3-kilometer long Rajpath from the Rashtrapati Bhavan to India Gate and new residences for the Prime Minister and the Vice President. Over the past several weeks, the Rajpath stretch with India Gate as the backdrop has witnessed drastic changes as the Central Vista redevelopment project takes shape. On Friday, Supreme Court refused to interfere with the Central Vista project, stating that it is already under the Delhi High Court. Despite fewer workers showing up in the past few days, officials are trying to meet initially set deadlines, the Central Public Works Department has said. Officials from HCP Design, Planning and Management, the architectural consultant of the Central Vista project, have said the original design elements of the area will be kept intact to a large extent after work is complete. Now let's move on to Mansi for the further updates.
Thank you, Bobby. Mamta urged PM Modi to waive GST on oxygen cylinders, COVID drugs. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee Sunday wrote to Prime Minister Narendra Modi requesting him to waive all forms of taxes and customs duty on equipment and drugs used to fight the COVID 19 pandemic. Banerjee also urged PM Modi to strengthen health infrastructure and augment supplies of equipment, medicines, and oxygen for treatment of coronavirus positive patients. A large number of organizations, individuals, and benevolent agencies have come forward to donate oxygen concentrators, cylinders, storage tanks, tankers, and tank containers, and COVID tested drugs. Donations from these organizations will greatly supplement the effort of the state in meeting the huge gap in the demand and supply, Banerjee wrote in a letter. Now, moving on to Tanya for more updates.
Thank you, Mansi. Supreme Court to hear appeal for action against COVID-19 protocol violence during Assembly polls. Kumbh Mela. The Supreme Court will on Monday will hear to public interest litigation filed by Noida-based advocate on record AOR Sanjay Kumar Pathak, seeking direction for strict enforcement of COVID-19 pandemic guidelines and for action against all those who had allegedly violated protocols during assembly elections in several states and the Kumbh Mela. A three-judge bench of the Apex Court, headed by Justice Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud and also Comparison Justice Nageshwar Rao and Ravindra Bhatt, will hear the petition filed by the advocate Pathak, who filed the appeal on April 16. Pathak had in his appeal filed before the Apex Court sought immediate strict direction to the Union of India (UOI) and the state of Uttarakhand to withdraw all the advertisement inviting people to Haridwar for Kumbh, keeping in view the worrisome effect and figures of coronavirus pandemic. He also sought that the central Uttarakhand government and the National Disaster Management Authority (NDMA) be direct immediately to clear the mass gathering from the Haridwar city as soon as possible and prescribe our safety protocols with respect to the people in returning from Kumbh to to their homes. The petitioner further sought a direction from the top court to the central and state government to not encourage or promote any gathering or event inconsistent with the spirit and object of the COVID guidelines and or orders issued by the UOI and NDMA. Another direction sought through the bill in it's that the Election Commission of India should issue direction to the concerned authorities in the state where elections are being held to strictly enforce COVID guidelines against the candidate campaigners and public during the election process and to take appropriate action against the violators in accordance with law. Pathak, in his petition, a copy of which was accessed by ANI, sought direction to the authorities to indemnify the violence of COVID-19 guidelines during the election process and to take appropriate action against them in accordance with law. Now moving on to Ritika.
Thank you, Tanya. Lockdown in Uttar Pradesh extended till May 17. Inter-district travel ban. New Delhi. In the wake of rising coronavirus cases, the Yogi Adityanath-led government, Uttar Pradesh, on Sunday extended lockdown till May 17. Partial corona curfew imposed in Uttar Pradesh extended till May 17. News agency ANI reported quoting ACS information Navneet Sehgal. The restrictions will remain in force till 7 a.m. May 17. During this time, all essential services will be allowed. However, people would need an e-pass and inter-district travel, or one can easily apply for an e-pass by visiting the official website of Uttar Pradesh government. Thank you. Let's hear some city news from Shubhankar.
Thank you, Ritika. Now let's continues. 300-bed COVID-19 isolation centers set up at Hyderabad Church. In order to help Telangana in handling the COVID-19 situation, the Calvary Temple, a church at Hafiz-Pet in Hyderabad, has been turned into 300-bed COVID-19 isolation center. Dr. P. Satish Kumar, the founder and pastor of the Calvary Temple, said that they are providing oxygen facilities to those who need them in critical situations. On Saturday, the church turned COVID isolation center was inaugurated by TRS leader and MLC Kavita. Speaking to ANI, Dr. P. Satish Kumar, pastor and founder of the temple, said India is going through a tough time and irrespective of caste, religion, and creed, every individual must come forward and help those who are in need. Further speaking, Kumar said, as a part of their service, they have opened up all the branches of the church in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana with aim to convert them into COVID isolation centers. Thank you. Now moving on to Bobby for more updates.
Thank you, Shubhankar. That was something positive. Now, moving on with the city news. Kerala poet alleges Facebook account suspended for satire over BJP loss. A Kerala-based poet has alleged that he was blocked by Facebook for 24 hours for posting a video on the Bharatiya Janata Party's loss in the recently concluded assembly elections in the state. The satirical video, K. Sachidanandan said, was sent to him as a WhatsApp forward, after which he shared it on the social media platform. The BJP has denied any role in the incident. The poet claimed that he had previously received a warning from Facebook when he had put out a post against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is clearly suppression of freedom of speech. Social media should be allowing their space to express our protest or frustrations. This is becoming very tyrannical, he said. Now moving on to Surbi for more city updates.
Thank you, Bobby. No metro this week in Delhi. How lockdown is stricter this time. The Delhi government has extended the lockdown in the city by another week. The lockdown will be on till 5th a.m. on May 17. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal said, adding that the extension is meant to ensure that the city does not let its guard down even though these COVID numbers have dropped marginally. Delhi has been under a lockdown since April 20 amid India's battle against a fierce second COVID wave. Metro service will not run in Delhi from Monday. Marriage will not be held in any public place. People can marry only at home or in court. Not more than 20 people will be allowed to attend the function. DJs, tents, catering will also not be allowed at the wedding. If the customer has given money for any such service, then the money should be returned to him or a later date can be fixed by a mutual agreement. Now moving on to Avni for some more updates.
150 attended burial of COVID positive man, 21 dead in Rajasthan village. 21 people died in as many days at a village in Rajasthan Sikar district, allegedly after a COVID-19 infected corpse was buried without following protocol. However, officials said that only 4 deaths have occurred due to the virus between April 15 and May 5. According to officials, a COVID-19 infected body was brought to Khiva village on April 21, and about 150 people attended the last rites, and the burial was done without following COVID-19 protocol. The body was taken out of the plastic bag, and several people touched it during burial, they said. Only 3 to 4 deaths have occurred due to COVID-19 out of 21 deaths. A majority of deaths are from older age group. We have taken sample of 147 people of 147 members of families where deaths have occurred to check whether it is COVID-19 community transmission. Lakshmangarh Subdivisional Officer Kulraj Meena told PTI on Saturday. Let's move to Harish for the opening bell.
Today's opening bell. Indian indices opened gap up on May 10 with Nifty above 14,900 on the back of positive global cues. At 9:16, the Sensex was up 289 points at 49,495, and the Nifty was up 98 points at 14,922. About 31 shares have advanced, 284 shares declined, and 77 shares are unchanged. Now let's move on to Rebecca for today's financial news.
Thank you, Harish. So starting with today's finance update, Dogecoin price spikes after Elon Musk's SNL appearance tweet. SpaceX and Tesla CEO Elon Musk is all set to be a guest host on Saturday Night Live television program. The much anticipated appearance is said to be a potentially market-moving event for his favorite currency, Dogecoin. Based on the Doge meme and started as a fun alternative to Bitcoin, Dogecoin's value has risen phenomenally ever since Musk started to endorse it. And it was no different this time as well, with Dogecoin traders worldwide organizing watch parties for his appearance. Musk, who is the rare business mogul to be asked to host the live comedy show, teased all on the eve of the show with a tweet along with fellow guests. However, it wasn't just the other two SNL guest stars, but he also included Dogecoin's mascot, a Shiba Inu, photoshopping it, of course. I'm a wild card, so there's no telling what I may do, he was heard saying in a promotional video released by SNL. SNL also informed that 100 million Doge will be distributed among everyone who takes part in the BTC streaming event. Promoting crypto mass adoption, they stated that Musk is hosting a 5,000 BTC giveaway during the show. Shortly after, the price of the cryptocurrency rose to an all-time high of above 72 cents before falling slightly, Bloomberg reported. Prices have soared an astounding 12,000% this year and about 30,000% since a low last July, the report added. Dogecoin's market, the value of all coins known to have been digitally minted, is now about $88 billion, up from $35 billion just last week, it said. So, as the Doge father, a name Musk himself came up with, is all set to make an appearance in the late night comedy show, people are celebrating it nearing the dollar market through hilarious memes. Although Musk said that he believes that crypto could be the default future currency of the earth, nonetheless, people shouldn't invest their life savings into cryptocurrency. First of all, I think people should not invest their life savings in cryptocurrency. To be clear, I think that's unwise, he warned in a video released by TMZ. Moving on with the finance update.
Fincare Small Finance Bank files DHRP with SEBI. Plans to raise 1,330 crore via IPO. Fincare Small Finance Bank, the Bengaluru-based finance company, has filed draft red herring prospectus with the capital markets regulator, Securities and Exchange Board of India, to raise funds via initial public offering. The digital-first small finance bank is planning to mop up 1,330 crore through its public offer, which comprises a fresh issue of 330 crore by the bank and an offer for sale of 1,000 crore by promoter Fincare Business Services. This offer includes a reservation for subscription by its employees. ICICI Securities, Axis Capital, IIFL Securities, and SBI Capital Markets have been appointed by global coordinators and book running lead managers to the issue, while Ambit is book running lead managers to the offer. Thank you. Now let's move on to Srishti.
Thank you so much, Harish. That was some valuable information. Moving on with the editorial. Beyond the thunderstorm. To say that we are living through some hard times is an understatement. In recent months, the news about the pandemic, repercussions of communal leanings, limited and inadequate medical facilities, along with bitter political scenario, has caused too much anxiety in people all over the country. Anxiety thrives in uncertainty and chaos. Despite similar geopolitical ups and downs, we've all become accustomed to relative stability and predictability. Our changing world, on the other hand, almost guarantees that we will wake up to a new set of laws, constraints, and decadence. It depletes our ability to function, limits our hopes, and overpowers our logic. There's still reason to be hopeful. We must find hope in the midst of the pandemic, despite our nervous brain's efforts to highlight the negative, and despite our exhaustion draining every sense of optimism from the day. We could learn and develop some skills which might improve our sense of confidence during the crisis, foster hope, and develop emotional flexibility so we can deal with uncertainty with some deliberate effort. Although we may not be able to control our emotions, thoughts, or others' actions, we are not powerless. Restoring our sense of agency and self-confidence could be as simple as reflecting on the aspects of our life that we can regulate. After we've spent so much time being restrained and being surrounded with exorbitant amounts of bad news, where we start believing that nothing is getting better, at the risk of sounding cliche, I would like to quote a line from Mr. Rogers. When I was a boy, I would see scary things in the news. My mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. Now, I would like Sinile to go on with the op-ed.
Thank you, Shrishti. Good morning, and today's op-ed is written by India's leading columnist, Tavleen Singh. Is PM Modi privately tormented by the disease and death that has spread across India on his watch? As I watched the Prime Minister urge chief ministers last week to not slow down the pace of vaccinations, I wondered if living in virtual reality has made him lose touch with reality. This virtual meeting was where we had the first sighting of the Home Minister since the defeat in West Bengal. The Home Ministry is directly in charge when there is a national disaster, and yet for the past 2 months, Amit Shah has been cited only at election rallies in Bengal. He was so certain that the BJP would snatch this state from Mamata Banerjee that he boasted publicly about winning at least 200 seats. When asked about reducing the length of the Bengal campaign, he smiled and said, and I quote, "There are no elections in Maharashtra, so why is the virus spreading there?" Unquote. In another interview, he said that the only reason why opposition leaders were asking for a shorter campaign in Bengal was because the BJP was winning. India was left to fend for herself while 2 of our most important leaders concentrated on winning Bengal. The Prime Minister's image has taken a huge hit. May I humbly suggest that it could be improved considerably if he stopped work on the Central Vista project. Images of the mounds of debris and dirt that lie scattered where once there were elegant street lamps and manicured lawns have traveled all over the world, and most people are horrified at what they think of as vandalism. We Indians know that the Prime Minister believes that this project is an assertion of nationalism, and that his favorite architect will do a much better job than Edwin Lutyens or Herbert Baker. His faith in Bimal Patel is extraordinary. He was tasked with tearing down parts of the old city of Varanasi to build a corridor from the Ganga to the Vishwanath Mandir and to redesign the Sabarmati riverfront in Ahmedabad. Modi has always boasted of his image as a strong and decisive leader. This is a time for him to prove that he is. For now, every time he appears virtually on our screens and gives one of his speeches, he sounds as if he has been fooled by his admirers and his social media army to believe that the horror stories are lies. Is this why he has shown more empathy for BJP workers in Bengal than for people dying without oxygen in hospitals? Is this why he has not ordered his ministers and MPs to go into their constituencies and help those who are in desperate need? Is the Prime Minister privately tormented by the disease and death that has spread across the country on his watch? Does he see that we have come to this pass because of mistakes made by his government? He shows no sign that he does, and he really needs to. That is all for the op-ed today. Now we have Trisha to present to you the cartoon of the day.
Thank you, Sinle, for putting up questions which needed to be asked. Moving on to cartoon of the day, it is by Mihir Suhail, depicting from one lockdown to another. Moving on to Sayok for internationals.
Thank you, Trisha, for such a cartoon that clarifies that Kashmir may have come out of one lockdown, but now is stuck in another. Now let's hear some international updates. Chinese rocket debris lands in the Indian Ocean. The remnants of China's biggest rocket landed in the Indian Ocean on Sunday. Speculation for where the debris would hit drew a lot of criticism from US over lack of transparency. The point of impact in the ocean was the west of Maldives archipelago. The debris belonged to China's Long March 5B, which was launched from Hainan Island on 29th April this year. China's media reported parts of the rocket re-entered the atmosphere at 10:24 Beijing time and landed on longitude 72.47 degrees and east and latitude 2.65 degrees north. A Harvard-based astrophysicist, Jonathan McDowell, told Reuters that potential debris zone could have been as far north as New York, Madrid, and Beijing, and as far south as southern Chile, Wellington, and New Zealand. The re-entry of the rocket debris was confirmed over the Arabian Peninsula, but whether it impacted land or water is still unknown. The Long March was the second deployment of the 5B variant since its maiden flight in May 2020. Last year, the pieces of the first Long March fell in on the Ivory Coast, damaging several buildings. However, no injuries and damages have been reported for this one yet. Now moving on to Avni and Arush.
As the world is still in unrest because of COVID, there are some places that are in unrest because of social political reasons. We will talk about Palestine and Colombia, which are facing the wrath of such unrest. Another night of violence has left at least 90 Palestinians wounded after Israeli police cracked down on protesters outside occupied East Jerusalem's Old City, as concerns over an escalation grew. An estimated 90,000 Muslim worshippers prayed at the nearby Al-Aqsa Mosque on Islam's holy night of Laylat al-Qadr, or the Night of Destiny, the most sacred of prayers during the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan on Saturday. Some stayed on to protest Israeli plans to forcibly expel Palestinian families from their homes on land claimed by illegal Jewish settlers in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood of East Jerusalem. Israeli security forces on horseback and in riot gear fired stun grenades and water cannons against Palestinians, who in turn threw stones, lit fires, and tore down police barricades in, in the street leading to the walled old city's gate. Israeli security forces were on high alert on Sunday, bracing for a further escalation ahead of Israelis' call Jerusalem Day. Many Israelis marked the
Seems like a problem in the connection. We'll move on. Now from one country which is facing some serious unrest, we move to another country in South America facing unrest, which is Colombia. Demonstrations began in Colombia on April 28 to protest against a tax reform proposed by its president, Ivan Duque, that would have squeezed the middle class. The tax reform sought to raise taxes by about $6.7 billion to pay the country's debts and maintain a basic income scheme for 3 million low-income people that started during the pandemic. The president's administration withdrew it 4 days later, but the protests continued and grew. A policeman was among the many killed. Initially led by unions and supported by college students and social organizations, protesters turned out in more than half of Colombia's municipalities, sometimes erecting roadblocks that officials say have led to food shortages, prevented vaccine deliveries, and blocked ambulances. The response by security forces, heavily armed from decades of battling drug traffickers and guerrillas, is being scrutinized by human rights observers. The Attorney General's office and the agency responsible for monitoring human rights compliance reported Thursday that 26 people were killed in protests, including a police officer and more than 800 injured. They did not specify the number of slayings in which police have been involved. Previously, the agency's alleged police involvement in a dozen. The United Nations Human Rights Office said it was deeply alarmed over the violence against protesters. In its statement, the UN urged Colombia's government to protect the rights of protesters. International artists who hail from Colombia like J Balvin and Karol G have been constantly posting about the violence happening in this country. And with that, we move to Srishti with some health updates.
Thank you, Arush. Moving on to the health beat. COVID-19 patients at risk of mucormycosis. The cases of mucormycosis are increasing among patients who have recovered from COVID. Mucormycosis is a typical type of fungal infection that reaches the brain through the nose and the eye. And if it reaches the brain, it can be fatal. Patients get the eye pain and headaches after being infected. Physicians say that after the corona is cured, the infection first occurs in the sinus and reaches the eye in 2 to 4 days. And then that can reach to the brain in 24 hours. Most of the patients are being found in Gujarat and Maharashtra. According to ACS Health Mumbai, so far 200 COVID-19 positive patients have been found to have symptoms, due to which the administration has become cautious. The COVID task force has also issued an advisory for doctors regarding mucormycosis. Now I would like Arish to take over for the sports beat.
Thank you, Srishti. And we are getting some news from the French football club Paris Saint-Germain. Neymar commits future to PSG until 2025. Neymar da Silva Santos Jr. has signed a new contract tying the Brazil superstar forward to Paris Saint-Germain until June 30, 2025, the league and club said on Saturday. Neymar, 29, joined PSG in 2017 from Barcelona for a record transfer fee of 222 million euros. I'm very happy to be extended my contract with Paris until 2025, Neymar said on PSG's official website. The truth is that I'm very happy to be staying here for 4 more years to be a part of the club's project to try and win titles, to try and achieve our biggest dream, which is the Champions League. PSG's chief executive Nasser Al-Khelaifi said the core of our ambitious project is to grow PSG is the heart, talent, and dedication of our players. I'm proud that Neymar Jr. has reaffirmed his long-term commitment to the PSG family through to 2025 and will continue to delight fans. We are very happy to see him continue as part of our project and to be alongside us for many years to come. Now we move to Agastya for some updates from the science and technology sector.
Arush, and yes, I'm definitely happy that Neymar has decided to stay with PSG rather than move. Now, going on to the science news, NASA plans on making the first railway system on the moon. NASA's made plans for putting the first railway system on the moon in the 2030s when there is a sustainable base suited over there. The float system by NASA employs an unpowered magnetic robot that levitates over a 3-layer flexible film track. A graphite layer enables robots to passively float over tracks using diamagnetic levitation. A flex circuit layer generates electromagnetic thrust to controllably propel robots along the tracks. And an optional film solar panel layer generates energy to power the base when in sunlight. Float robots have no moving parts and levitate over the track to minimize lunar dust absorption or wear. Unlike lunar robots with wheels, legs, or tracks, float will autonomously in the dusty, inhospitable lunar environment with minimal site preparation, and its network of tracks can be rolled up or reconfigured over time to match evolving lunar-based mission requirements. So far, there are 2 phases for the float system, but many more are being stated to be there. It will establish the fundamental feasibility of designing a float system with meter scale to kilometer scale to support human exploration activities on the moon. Phase 2 will be revealed on the 25th of May. And now, moving on to the entertainment section with Trisha.
Thank you, Agastya, for such an informative piece. Moving on to entertainment update for the day. Following the film certification, Salman offers 21 voluntary cuts to his film Radhe. Salman Khan offers 21 voluntary cuts to his film Radhe after film certification, and now it has a certification UA slated for Eid release. Salman Khan and Disha Patni's highly anticipated film Radhe is all set to release on May 13th. Prior to its release, buzz is that Salman has voluntarily offered 21 cuts to his film after the certification asked, as we all know that Radhe may have limited release in cinemas in some parts of the country, the examining committee of the Central Board of Film Certification has endorsed the film with UA certification. There were quite a few scenes in the film where a boy was shown consuming drugs. About 6 such drug scenes have been deleted by the makers of the film, as the censor board doesn't allow drugs consumption scenes in UA certification. This is probably Salman Khan's first film that will have a digital release. Salman Khan and Disha Patni's highly anticipated film Radhe is all set to release in May 13. As per the sources, the duration of Radhe is considered to be actor's shortest film with a duration of 114 minutes. Moving on to Mansi for crime updates.
I think Mansi has lost her connection. Let's move on to Shubhankar for some interesting updates.
Thank you, Srishti.
Mansi is back on the. No, Mansi left again. Go on, Shubhankar.
पिछले कुछ समय से देश मास्टर स्ट्रोक्स का खेला, माफ कीजिएगा, खेल मैदान बन चुका है, जिनमें से कितने सफल होते हैं और कितने नहीं, इस पर चर्चा तो होती ही रहती है। मगर हम पेश कर रहे हैं एक छोटी सी अनस्क्रिप्टेड बातचीत हमारे देश के दिग्गज एंकरों के बीच, जिसे सामने रखने से पहले मैं बस इतना ही कहना चाहूंगा कि फिल्म सिटी के घाटन पर लगी एंकरन की भीड़, चौरसिया औंधे पड़े, रोए रहे सुधीर। चलिए देखते हैं हमारे देश के पत्रकारों को उनके सच्चे विचार हमारे सामने रखते हुए। सुधीर जी, मेरा पहला सवाल आपसे है कि ये इंटरनेशनल मीडिया के द्वारा दिखाए गए भारत के हालातों के बारे में आपका क्या विचार है?
ये आपने अपना सवाल देखा, ये सीधा सीधा दर्शाता है कि लुटियंस मीडिया ने आपको ये सोचने पर मजबूर कर दिया है कि इंटरनेशनल मीडिया ही भरोसा करने लायक है, जबकि हमारे देश में सच्चे और अच्छे चाटुकार, नहीं माफ करिए मुझे बोलने दीजिए, जबकि हमारे देश में सच्चे और अच्छे चाटुकारों, माफ करिएगा, पत्रकारों की कमी नहीं है। हम डीएनए यानी डेली न्यूज एंड एनालिसिस में न्यूज एंड एनालिसिस के अलावा सब कुछ करते हैं। माफ करिएगा, आज काफी फंबल हो रहा है। न्यूज एंड एनालिसिस के अलावा कुछ नहीं करते हैं। इंटरनेशनल मीडिया आपको ये नहीं बताएगा कि ये मोदी जी की नहीं
देश की सच्चाई
बल्कि
यही है।
सिस्टम की नाकामी है। ये प्रोपोगेंडा फैलाने में दिल्ली की जनता का भी उतना ही हाथ है जितना इन देशद्रोही टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग का है। अगर दिल्ली की जनता आम आदमी पार्टी को वोट ना कर बीजेपी को वोट करती, आप सुनिए मेरी बात,
दिखा रही है हमारी,
आप मेरी बात सुनिए, अगर आम आदमी पार्टी को वोट ना देकर बीजेपी को वोट किया जाता दिल्ली में, तो आज दिल्ली में ऑक्सीजन की भरमार होती और इंटरनेशनल मीडिया के ऐसे झूठे प्रचार काम ही नहीं करते। लेकिन नहीं, दिल्ली की जनता को तो देश से कोई लेना देना नहीं है। दिल्ली की जनता को तो फ्री बेस पे वोटिंग करनी है और उनको फ्री बेस की स्कीम में ऑक्सीजन मिली नहीं, तो वो कहां से मिलेगी? क्या इंटरनेशनल मीडिया ने पाकिस्तान में मच रहे हाहाकार को कवर किया? पाकिस्तान के लोगों की टूटी फूटी इंग्लिश को कवर किया? नहीं। जैसे ही भारत में
हमारे
कुछ
देश के बारे में
मोटा हो
सच
जाता है
दिखा रहे
अपनी
हैं।
टुच्ची पब्लिसिटी के लिए, वो भारत के पीछे पड़ जाते हैं।
वो हमारे देश के बारे में सच दिखा रहे हैं।
आप मुझे एक बात बताइए, आप लोगों ने मेरी 2000 की नोट में नैनो चिप वाली खबर का कितना मजाक उड़ाया? आज भी वो याद करके रोना आता है, आपको पता है। लेकिन नहीं, अब आप ऐसे प्रोपोगेंडा को बढ़ावा कैसे दे सकते हैं? अभी आपको समझना है कि कौन सच बताता है और कौन प्रोपोगेंडा फैलाता है।
ठीक है सुधीर जी, अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं। अर्नब जी, मेरा अगला सवाल आपसे है। अर्नब जी, मेरा सवाल है कि अर्नब जी, जो ऑक्सीजन की कमी पे आपके क्या विचार है? हमारे पूरे देश में संक्रमण का वार है और देश में ऑक्सीजन की कमी, इस पे आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
What do you mean by oxygen? How dare you ask me such questions? How dare you? The nation wants to know. ये टुकड़े टुकड़े
ये
गैंग
सच
कैसे
है,
इंफॉर्मेशन
सच है
फैला
अर्नब
रहा
जी
है?
ये।
How dare you? No, you tell me. No, let me speak. Why are you speaking? Let me speak.
ये सच है
Nation
अर्नब जी कि हमारे
will
देश में
use
ऑक्सीजन की
as
कमी
much
है।
as no. Listen. मुझे ऑक्सीजन दो। मैं यही सुनते रहता हूँ हर जगह यही चलता रहता है, ऑक्सीजन दो। ये क्या है? क्यों आप ऐसे न्यूज़ फैला रहे हैं? क्यों? Why are you spreading rumors? आप तो यूपी से, आपको इतना
अर्नब जी
नहीं
ये
पता?
सच है।
आप योगी जी को नहीं, नो, आप योगी जी को नहीं सुनते हैं कि अगर आप ऐसे रूमर्स फैलाएंगे तो क्या होगा आपके साथ? क्यों?
अर्नब जी आप मुझे बोलने नहीं दे रहे हैं।
No, listen to me. How dare you ask such questions to me? अगली बार भी मोदी सरकार।
ठीक है अर्नब जी, अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं रूबिका जी की तरफ। रूबिका जी, मेरा अगला प्रश्न आपसे है। रूबिका जी, आप क्या कहना चाहते हैं? हमारे सारे देश में लोग कह रहे हैं कि हॉस्पिटल बेड्स की कमी है और ऑक्सीजन की भी कमी है और देशों से मदद भी मिल रही है, पर वो मदद जा कहाँ रही है? रूबिका जी, इसका कोई जवाब है आपके पास?
अरे आपको पहले बताना तो चाहिए था, मेरा टर्न आ रहा है, मैं अभी अपना मेकअप पे फोकस कर रही थी। एनीवे, आप कैसे कह सकते हैं कि हमारे पास एड नहीं आ रहा है? हेलो, हमारे पास सारी मदद आ रही है और आज मोदी जी की इतनी अच्छी इमेज है, आज उनके इतने अच्छे रिश्ते हैं पूरी दुनिया के साथ, इसलिए लोग हमें मदद कर रहे हैं।
ये सच है कि हमारे देश में हॉस्पिटल बेड्स की कमी है और ऑक्सीजन
वो
की भी कमी है,
लेकिन बाहर से हमें मदद मिल
बारे
तो
में
रही
देश
है।
सरकार कह रही है।
अब वो लोग बार बार इस बात पे फोकस कर रहे हैं कि ये मदद जा कर रही है। अरे जब देश में आ रही है तो देशवासियों को ही तो मिलेगी। कौन सा मोदी जी अपने घर पे लगा के बैठेंगे इन सबको? आप लोग कैसी बातें करते हैं? पता है, इन बातों की वजह से मैं इतना दुखी हो जाती हूँ कि मैं कैसे बताऊं। पता नहीं कैसे लोग मोदी जी पे विश्वास नहीं कर रहे। मैं तो चाहती हूँ कि अगली बार भी मोदी जी आए, उनके जैसे लीडर की वजह से ही आज हमें इन सब की। हमारे देश में वैक्सीन की कमी नहीं है, आपको कहे कौन रहा है? हमने इतने वैक्सीन बाहर भेजे और इसलिए तो आज हमारे पास वापस आए हैं। लोग हमें मदद कर रहे हैं, आपको पेशेंट होना होगा। आप ऐसे नहीं रूमर्स फैला सकते, ये सही नहीं है।
ठीक है, कोई नहीं, रूबिका जी भावुक हो गई हैं। अब हम अंजना ओम कश्यप जी की तरफ चलते हैं। अंजना जी, मेरा अगला प्रश्न आपसे है। अंजना जी, आपके शो हल्ला बोल में आप बंगाल वायलेंस के बारे में बात करेंगी?
जी बिल्कुल। नमस्कार, मेरा नाम है अंजना ओम कश्यप। माफ कीजिएगा, नमस्कार, मेरा नाम है अंजना ओम मोदी। करके आई हूँ मेकअप की लीपा पोती और मेरे सामने नहीं टिकेगा कोई भी बीजेपी विरोधी। बंगाल में चुनावी नतीजों के बाद जो ये हिंसा भड़की है, इसके जिम्मेदार कौन है? कौन आज इस चीज की जिम्मेदारी लेगा? आज फिर से एक बार टीएमसी की काली करतूतों का चेहरा सामने आया है।
पर क्या ये भारत की सरकार की कमी नहीं है?
नहीं, मुझे भारत सरकार, आप कुछ शर्म आनी चाहिए। आप भारत सरकार के ऊपर सवाल उठा रहे हैं। आप इस तरह से सवाल नहीं उठा सकते भारत सरकार के ऊपर। टीएमसी ने मेरे अपने बीजेपी के लोगों को मारा और उसके बाद खुद बीजेपी पर प्रत्यारोप आरोप लगाए कि हाँ बीजेपी ने वहां पे हिंसा फैलाई है। ये तो वही बात हो गई ना, उल्टा चोर कोतवाल को डांटे। ये कहाँ की राजनीति?
अंजना जी, आप तो बस बीजेपी की ही साइड ले रही हैं और लोग कहते हैं कि बीजेपी ने पत्रकारों को खरीद लिया है, क्या ये सच है?
आपको शर्म आनी चाहिए एक सच्चे और ईमानदार पत्रकार से ऐसी बात करते हुए। हाँ, वो बात अलग है कि हल्ला बोल में मैं हमेशा बीजेपी का समर्थन करती हूँ और करूं भी क्यों ना, मेरा घर इसी से तो चलता है। भले ही मैंने अपने ट्विटर अकाउंट में लिखा हो कि आई बिलीव इन द पावर ऑफ वर्ड्स, लेकिन
तो क्या आप ये
अपने
मानती है
शो
पत्रकारों
नहीं
को
नहीं
खरीद लिया
नहीं नहीं
बीजेपी
नहीं
ने?
रुकिए 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 रुकिए, भले ही मैंने अपने ट्विटर अकाउंट में लिखा है कि आई बिलीव इन द पावर ऑफ वर्ड्स, पर हल्ला बोल शो में अपने आप को अंजना ओम मोदी बताकर मैंने इस सेंटेंस की सार्थकता को भी सिद्ध किया है। और याद रखिएगा, एक मेहनती, सच्चे और ईमानदार पत्रकार से कभी भी ये सारे शब्द आप नहीं बोलेंगे और आज के बाद मेरे शो में आने से पहले आप 10 बार सोचेंगे। और हिम्मत मत कीजिएगा मुझसे ऐसी बात, इस तरह से बात करने का, क्योंकि अगर मोदी जी को खामखा पता चल गया तो उन्हें बुरा लगेगा और श्वेता को मुझसे ज्यादा पेमेंट मिलेगा और ये मुझे बिल्कुल बर्दाश्त नहीं है। मुझे माफ कीजिए, अब आप जा सकते हैं मेरे शो से।
अंजना जी गुस्सा हो गई हैं। चलिए अब हम चलते हैं दीपक चौरसिया जी की तरफ। दीपक चौरसिया जी, क्या आप सुन पा रहे हैं? मेरा अगला प्रश्न आपसे है, ये जो हमारे देश में कोरोना वायरस की महामारी फैल रही है, उस पे आपके क्या विचार हैं? और इस हालात में भी हमारे देश में कुंभ मेला हो रहा है, क्या कहना चाहेंगे दीपक चौरसिया जी आप इस पे बारे में?
हिंदुस्तान का क्या मतलब है जहां हिंदू रहते हैं, फिर भी यहाँ रमजान और ईद को इतनी धूमधाम से मनाया जाता है और वहीं हम अगर कुंभ को मनाए तो उसमें दिक्कत क्या है? क्यों दिक्कत है? नहीं 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 नहीं, मैं आपको बोलने नहीं दूंगा। कहाँ गई सबकी? नहीं 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 नहीं, आप मेरे मुंह में शब्द ना डालिए वरना दिक्कत हो जाएगी। कहाँ गई सबकी धर्मनिरपेक्षता? यहाँ हमारे देश में जो इस्लामी नीतियों की वजह से सबसे कब्जा हो रहा है। इस्लामी नीतियां हमारे देश पर कब्जा कर रही हैं। हमें अपने धर्म की रक्षा करनी पड़ेगी। अगर हम अपने धर्म की रक्षा नहीं करेंगे तो फिर कैसे चलेगा? ये हिंदुस्तान कैसे खिलाया जाएगा? और नहीं, मैं आपको बोलने नहीं दूंगा। नहीं नहीं नहीं, यहाँ हमारा धर्म खतरे में है और ये मोदी सरकार ही है जो हमारे धर्म की रक्षा कर सकती है। And with that, we come to the end of today's bulletin. I would like to thank all anchors and everyone who joined us today. Keep listening for more news and updates. We will be back tomorrow. Till then, Satyavani signing off.